Welcome to my podcast with your host Emir. Today I'll be hosting one of my best MUN friends that I've been knowing for more than 3 or 4 months, who is Ceren. So Ceren, let's first introduce yourself to us.
So I'm Ceren, as you said, and I'm 16 years old, beautiful girl. And that's it.
That's it. Okay. So would you like to tell us a little bit about your hobbies or interests in general?
So, as you know, we have a lot of free time, and I try to take advantage of this free time we have. So I actually got a lot of hobbies, and I started to reading a lot of articles.
What articles?
Mostly about psychology and the relationship part.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And what can I say? The classic hobbies like listening to music, reading books, writing blogs. So I think I can say that too.
Okay. So, since you're interested in psychology and
Yeah.
relationships, so I have a couple questions.
Can I say a thing before we start?
Okay.
So, you know that I'm not a real psychologist, so I'm just a girl who is interested in psychology and really loves to talk about things. So, I'm just gonna share my opinions about the things you ask. So, I hope that you and your listeners will enjoy it. So, I just want to say that I'm just a girl who loves to share opinions about psychology. So, I'm not a real psychologist.
Okay. I think they would probably
Yeah.
know that because.
No,
So-
I don't want to get people think that my opinions about that so important. This is just a person's opinions.
Yeah. Okay. Understand it now. So the first question comes,
Yeah.
which I think is really essential. What actually is communication? From in my opinion, I mean, I do have communications, but I have never thought of the description of the word communication. So, what would you like to tell about this?
So if you look to net or some books, you can find the basic parts of communication is the process of passing information, like maybe the talking one person to another. But to me, communication is based on place and depends on where you're talking, like the place. It can be the social media platforms or maybe the face-to-face communications. So to me, communication is really changing based on the place where you are communicate.
So, do you mean that, for example, I'm talking one of my friends in my home, and if I talk to that friend in school or let's say in a street, so does that make any difference?
Uh, Actually, I'm talking about the social media rules, and like if you're talking in social media, you should follow some rules, like not to write late to message, not to see, not the scene thing, you know that. But if you're talking like face to face, you should take care of like eye contact, gestures, and facial expressions. So the place actually really important about communication, I think.
So, like we actually, the things that we shouldn't do on social media
Yeah.
is what I'm doing, right?
Like you're improving yourself, so I'm not gonna say some bad things about you, but like you were doing it, but right now you are good at it.
Okay. Like I'm taking progress,
Yeah,
like
yes, you're
it's a
taking
little
progress.
bit hard.
But actually,
Okay.
now you're not that bad at it. I think like you're talking good.
Yeah, it's because I'm checking messages, like let's say
In old
more
times, I was like
regularly.
so angry at you, like I'm writing a message and Emir all never and never answering me back. And I was like,
Never?
yes, like
No,
never.
don't lie.
No, like
No, like even though it is
4 hours later.
6, yeah, maybe 4 hours, but at the end I'm answering it. So, but
Okay.
now I'm improving myself.
Yes,
So
yes.
just
Okay.
give me some time, you know.
So
So,
I can add one more thing.
all
To
right,
me, communicate. One of the keys of a good communication, behaviors, I guess. Like, how can I say that? But what are you think about killing a person? Like, it's a very bad thing, right? Like, it's
yeah,
unacceptable. But actually, behaviors can change based on the place too. Like, if you are in a war, killing is the only thing that you can do. But like in the society, the killing can be not can be like killing is the worst thing. But to me, behaviors can change based on the place too, like the communication do.
so we shouldn't judge people just because they did something relatively wrong. So we have to consider the circumstances, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, for example, this scene thing on WhatsApp is unacceptable, right? But
No, if
if
you do
maybe,
like once, it's not that big. But if you do one, more than one, it's unacceptable, I guess.
okay, so this like exception is actually, for example, you don't know, but one of your friends is depressed and really bad conditions he or she is having, but you didn't know, and it was only once or twice that he or she made scene on WhatsApp, so it's acceptable, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on the circumstances.
Yes, and I'm saying like to me the communication is really based on place. So like the places matter so much.
Yeah, okay. So since we've talked about the ways that we communicate through, so how can we stabilize, like it will be better and great if you tell this in different aspects. For example, how to stabilize, like I mean stabilize is like something that keeps the relationship okay between the two parts. So how can we do this on social media and compared to face-to-face communication?
Um, in the both of them, like you have to act according to person that you communicate with. Like the person's character is really matters actually in this too. And to me, like stop answering like a robot, like yes, no, okay, bye. Like this is actually not okay. Like open a conversation. Do not give the conversation finishing answers. Like that's not anybody's want. So to me, in face-to-face communication, of course, but you have to listen to the person, like care about it, give importance to intonation in sounds. Actually, it really matters. Um, I can say that actually. That's I guess.
So we should communicate with the person that we're contacting now. Um, so we should like we should not be a robot or like just regular person to everyone. Like we should act according to the person's future. For example, you don't always like reply to the question that your friend asked to you always the same way. So we should know, like for a better communication, we should know the person's ideas and like let's say futures and behaviors, right?
Yeah, yeah. To me,
Okay.
I'm like if like I let's say you're talking with a person who loves arts. It's classic. Like
Okay.
if she talks about something art, you maybe you can give like more importance about what she's saying. Like it's actually a very little thing, but it can really make the people so happy.
I mean, what do you mean by, like, I didn't get the instance, so can you just
So like
explain a little bit more?
in the normal talking, like you can you are talking with somebody, but if the person starts to talk about something that she really loves, like you can maybe add some answers like that you are happy to hear
Paying
that,
attention?
like
Ah,
some, yeah,
okay.
yeah, like paying attention more than normal.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, it's actually a very little thing, but it can really make the people so happy.
Yeah. So, well, we should always care about the details, because even though it seems really small, it can sometimes be a cause of huge happiness, right?
Yes, like if you want that, we can talk about the human interactions, because I
Okay.
think one of the most important topics of this podcast, like literally don't like something so much. The people always like talk about the persons socio-economically. Like, let's say there is a boy and girl talking, and if we do not fit them socio-economically, we do not like them. But actually, what really matters is the thoughts of the feelings of those two people. So it is
Yeah.
really none of our or anybody's business.
So we should not evaluate people according to their socioeconomic conditions, right?
Yes, like if they love each other, like they really like to talk each other, this is like none of our business.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like, it's not always, but sometimes it's really common thing between, mostly in teenagers. Like,
Yes.
they, I, I don't totally appreciate what they're doing, and I've never done something like that before. But it's really bad that when I see someone judging a person's, let's say, statico in the society. I mean, it's really bad. I mean, there are some people that who think a relation should depend on the person's wealthiness, or
Yes,
let's say
it's
the
like
things that they
nonsense.
own.
Like,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You're not one of them, I guess, right?
no, no, never. I never judge the people by the cover. So,
Yeah,
can I ask you a question?
yeah, of
What do you
course.
think about first impressions?
First impression, actually, um, I mean, I believe in the
Really?
effect. Yeah, I mean, the effect of first impression is important, but the whole relationship should not depend on the first impression. Like, for
Yes,
example,
yes.
if you want to do, like, if you want to do to talk someone, you can do it with the courage that you've taken from the first impression. But in the long term, like, the whole relationship should not depend on the first impression,
Yeah.
because you have to know the person well, like their his or her thoughts and point of opinions and etc. So
But maybe like
uh
if you don't like the first impression of person, maybe you won't start the second conversation with that person. What are you gonna do about it?
so in that case, as I said, do not totally and fully depend on the first impression. And even though, for example, let's consider it as two different cases. For example, the case one is, you've seen the person and you liked her or him,
Yeah.
so you go and talk to her with positive thoughts, and then turns out that he or she is not your type. But in that case, you have to be kind and um like, never say anything that would possibly hurt the person that you're talking. So the second case, is that when you see that person, you've got some negative thoughts, or you didn't that much like the person, but you you should also give a chance to the person that we are talking about, because you can't know what is going to come up with.
Yes, I agree that. But
So in both cases, we have to be kind and should not fully depend on the first impression. So don't judge people just just because they seem very nice or very bad.
yes, to me, first impressions are not that important too. Like, I have a lot of friends like judging the people like the first impressions, but like in your first impressions, you can know the person like at that moment. Maybe he or she can really feel bad or something different. The like, but like you can change the person's thoughts about you in the second or other conversations. So I'm
Yeah,
not
of
saying
course.
it's not the like it's not important, but it's not everything about communication.
Yeah, the same opinion we share
Yeah.
here. So, since we've mentioned about feelings,
Yeah.
so what role do you think emotions and feelings have in a relationship?
To me, like emotions accompany human life at any time. Like emotions guide us. Like emotions reflect our inner world and really affects our relationship. Like if we want to be more together with the people, we feel good feelings together, and we try to stay away from people who make feel uncomfortable. So actually emotions are like the one of the most important things in the relationships. Actually it's really like similar to first impressions.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I'm gonna say that if some people really makes me uncomfortable, or it's gonna be sound mean, but like if I'm bored around him, I don't think that I will go and talk with him again.
So, in that case, how would you reject him?
Um, so
I don't think you want to hurt him.
yes,
So
I'm
how
not
would you
that
do
kind
that?
of person at all.
Am
Like
I?
no, you're not. I don't know. It's like I'm like really scared of getting people hurt.
Yeah, yeah. I know that.
Yeah, so I probably like if he comes to me, I will be like, oh, I'm really busy right now, so let's talk another time. It's very classic.
So you would basically lie.
I don't know, like
Yeah.
it's a very bad question. Like, it's really sounds mean, but I'm not that kind of person. But if
But
really,
you've just said that you would lie.
I don't know. But if like lying is lying is something that all the people do. Like it's not a big lie.
I mean, I know it's not a big lie, but ethically,
But
and
if
since you're
somebody,
not
if
that,
like, okay, I'm gonna ask like if he makes me uncomfortable, but what can I say that? Like,
so you can
do I
kindly
have to
say
live with it?
no.
So like, I don't want to like hurt the people, so I'm just gonna say like a little lie, but it's not hurting anybody, and I'm just gonna say like I'm busy. Let's talk another time. It's actually not that bad, I think, because if he makes me uncomfortable, I'm gonna say that.
So if he makes you uncomfortable, so why not just tell him the truth that you don't feel uh, you don't feel comfortable as much as you used to be, and now you don't feel that much well when you're near him. So basically, there's this dilemma: telling lie or telling him the truth. So you've chosen the path of telling a lie, since you believe it
You
does not
make me
hurt
sound a very
anyone.
bad person, and I do not like you.
No, you don't like
Um,
me? Now you
So
don't like me?
no,
Okay.
okay. So I
Okay,
don't know,
get it,
like
Ceren.
if a little lie can like solve the problem, that I guess I'm gonna I choose to
Yeah.
say a lie. I'm not gonna lie right now. So uh,
Okay.
so that's will be my answer, I
Action.
think, I
Okay.
guess.
So can we like in that, for example, in that case, can we control and channel our thoughts towards the way we want?
Of course,
So
of course, yes.
how?
Like because your feelings for something that can change at any time. Like one day you can love something and second day you can hate it. This is really normal. Like because you like maybe you can get the positive vibes, and the second day you can get the negative vibes.
So does it depend on our willing, or it is all dependent on our, let's say, consciousness?
To me, actually, it's really based on emotions, like the other questions. Like, if I get a good feeling, I'm gonna love it. Like, if I get a bad feeling, I'm gonna, like, not gonna love it.
Okay. So I haven't got any more questions, but so what would you like to tell us about the the period of time that when you let's say when you're not cool with your friend, it could be anybody, so how how would you approach to this situation? For example, you're not like you don't have, let's say, bond connections with the person that I'm talking about, so what would you do? Like you do like the person and it really makes you feel good, but you don't feel comfortable, or you don't feel that the relationship you're having with the person is not good. So how would you approach to these situations? For example, what would you do to understand situation fully?
So I actually like did this, and so I'm just gonna go or text or maybe the call, like, and say to him that, like, okay, like I love you, you love me, we're like having a relationship, but it doesn't make me feel good. Like it doesn't make me feel real, maybe. And like, what's the problem? Like it's actually very basic questions, but a lot of people actually can't do that. So I'm I'm more of a kind of like go and talk about this, because if I love the person, I'm gonna just go and talk.
Okay.
What will you
So
do?
what will I do? Um, so if I feel uncomfortable with the situation, I would directly go and say that I don't feel good, and I think I would say there is something wrong. So let's find out. So if you and then I would add, if you don't want to find out, just get out of my life and just stop being an stop being a, let's say, little rat in my life, or let's do find out a solution and try to understand the issue that we're having so that we have better relationship.
What will you feel like if somebody come up to you and say that I don't feel like you're talking a real, you're talking like how can I say that? Not real talking, like you're doing the fake emotions things. Because I have a friend, I'm not gonna say the name, but she always like, we know that she always lies, but about her feelings. Like she always
Okay.
keep the sad and anger feelings inside and never shares. So what will you do about that position?
Okay. In that position, I would tell him or her that he or she should tell me the things that he is having the trouble, so that I may help him get out of the situation. Because I would tell him and prove the fact that when you tell your friends or your family, whoever it is, when you tell that problem and you just shout, like, let's say it is just a little shouting of your heart towards the people that the person that you're talking, so it will make you feel okay, and like you would make inside of you, let's say, more relaxed. So in the first position, I would try to um, make him or her understand this fact, and then I would tell him or her that I am always with him, that he or she can always tell me and just talk to me whenever he or she wants. Like, I'm here with you, I'm here for you, and I will always be in a secret. So I would try to make him or her feel calm and good with me.
That's good of you.
Yeah, it's because I'm a good person.
Yeah, you are.
Not as much as you are beautiful,
Oh, yes,
but
yes.
I'm a good person, you know.
Like you, yeah, okay. I don't feel. How can I say? I'm thinking like how. What can I add more?
No, it's okay. I mean, like, you don't have to just let's say drift the conversation. If you're done, I mean, it's done. But it was really a great pleasure to hosting you
Yeah, thanks for
today.
inviting me. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure.
thanks for accepting my invitation.
All the time.
Hope to hear you soon. Like, it will be really great pleasure to host in upcoming episodes if you wish.
Can you repeat?
Okay, it will be really great pleasure to host you in the upcoming in one of the upcoming episodes, the topic that you want, or just talking and
Yes,
chilling.
it
So
can
it's
be. It
it's up
can
to
be.
you.
Like I love talking and chilling.
Yeah, okay, so just consider my invitation and um like keep in touch, okay? So that
Okay,
we can have one more.
maybe.
Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, you have anything to add, or
Mm,
just a few words?
I don't know, but the it was very good time that I really loved to talk to you. So that's it, I guess.
Okay, so take care. Goodbye.
Okay.